What's up, everybody? It's your boy Oxy coming at you today with another video. Now you might be wondering why the fuck am I uploading on a Tuesday? Is because this is what is supposed to be MMA Mondays, but I didn't have enough time to record and edit today, so I'm just recording. We have a UFC 289 recap. This is kind of going to be the main focus of the video. I do want to talk about ONE FC, but that'll probably be next week when I talk about it. Our main focus, holy fuck, I'm going to skip the prelims, go right to the main card. The crowd fell. I'm screaming in this fucking Discord call because I thought I was the only one that noticed this fucking crowd falling. Holy shit. What the fuck? It's so funny how the announcers waited until the fight was barely starting to say anything about the fucking... Thankfully, nobody seriously got injured, or maybe just like small injuries, maybe like a bruise or a cut or something like that. Although the guy that's falling from the fucking top, like, takes the rest of the railway with them. You can't convince me nobody was like trying to sabotage Mike Mallet. I'm just saying, dog. Like that whole leap and bound was aiming right towards him. That shit was fucking insane. I don't even know how the last dude felt. Like, he looked like he was the last of the bunch. Like, how the fuck did he lose his balance? I think the main card did absolutely well. You can make an argument that it was kind of like an average, you know, dominating performance from Amanda Nunes against Irene Aldana. The people's main event, of course, we have Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira, Dan Ige and Nate the Train. You got Mike Mallet and Adam Fugit opening, you know, towards the co-main event. Absolutely amazing finish from Mike Mallet. Definitely deserved the performance of the night bonus. Way to go for a fucking round 2 submission. I honestly thought he was gonna KO him. Congratulations to all the Canadian fighters. I think every Canadian fighter on this card did not lose. Now, can we talk about the people's main event? Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. Holy shit. The best thing that could have ever happened is Charles coming back and winning. At this point in time, Charles Oliveira is my favorite fighter. There's definitely competition between him and Alexander Volkanovski. But Charles Oliveira, I mean, I kind of knew he was going to win. I wish I could have recorded my reaction to it because I went fucking crazy when he beat Beneil. I'm actually still recovering from that night, so that's why I seem a little down in the dumps right now. I'm still recovering from that night, so that's why I kind of feel a little tired. Props to Dariush though, like that shit was fucking insane. The referee took forever to stop the fight, so Dariush definitely got a lot more damage than what he needed. He was already kind of looking up and at the ceiling every time he get punched. And not to mention, like, the UFC has been disrespecting Dariush, I think, almost his entire career. He has so many top 10 wins without actually competing in the top 5. I think his only top 5 win at the time was Tony Ferguson. So Charles definitely had the edge throughout this fight. I think the only thing that Charles had to worry about was being defensive with jiu-jitsu, which, I mean, he's a masterclass like jiu-jitsu fighter. Like, there's not that many authentic black belts in jiu-jitsu here, but Charles is definitely one of them. And his offensive jiu-jitsu is fucking insane. His defensive is kind of where it starts to get a little blurry. But, I mean, this is the game of MMA, so he was throwing kicks and punches, and he was the better striker going in. I think this was a very hard fight for Beneil and not so much Charles. At least going into the fight, that's what I was thinking. Beneil does pose a threat, and did so early on. Beneil does still pose a threat because he does have power in his hands, but I don't think it's as much power as Charles. Also, Charles has much more experience, not only in MMA period, but within top 5 wins. Beneil Dariush only has 1. Meanwhile, Charles has 4 top 5 wins, now 5, because I think Beneil was right at 5. All around in the high level of competition that the top 5 is, Charles Oliveira is definitely more experienced in that area. So I kind of knew that going into the fight. He's had a lot more threats and a lot more things against him than Beneil has had in his career. Also, the amount of losses that Charles does have, I mean, it you gain something from losses. You gain this extra knowledge from those losses, and then you just become a better fighter right after. I think tonight proved that he became a better fighter since the Islam loss. I think defensively he looked pretty good. Bonilla wasn't really threatening anything on the ground though. Charles pieced him up on the feet and then ended up getting him on the ground. And to kind of talk about Amanda Nunes and Irene Aldana, the retirement of Amanda Nunes. Thank you so much for what you have done with women's MMA. Thank you for what you have done for MMA and how it will inspire others to take part in this sport in the future. To reach the legendary status of the greatest female fighter of all time, arguably one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, it's very tough competition up there, and you're definitely making your way through there. I think with Amanda Nunes regaining her title kind of solidified her as the greatest female fighter of all time. Nunes had some controversial wins against Valentina Shevchenko. Overall, with her coming back and starching up Pena like she did, and now starching up Irene Aldana like she did, definitely solidifies her as not only the greatest female fighter of all time, but the most untouchable female fighter of all time. I think definitely she's probably at the latter end of her career in terms of MMA and prime. She looked phenomenal tonight, but there was a few things that kind of made me feel weird. We all know that Irene Aldana can crack. The way that Amanda kind of reacted to the counter and still pressured forward kind of concerned me a bit. Amanda was wobbled, so we could have potentially seen a knockout, you know, from Amanda with somebody who hits just a little bit harder than Irene. Also, Irene was on the back foot, so had she pressured and really gotten Nunes really good with one clean shot, I mean, we could have seen a different fight. 50-43 is insane in any case. But goddamn, 50-43 was very much well deserved in this fight. I personally scored it 50-41. Amanda was getting 10-8, except for the first round where you can argue that she got a 10-9. I mean, she dominated that fight, and then she got rocked, and then she continued dominating. She could have taken down Irene as much as she wanted to. It was an extremely terrible performance from Irene. She wasn't pushing forward. She wasn't defending takedowns. She had one really good counter, and that's it. That's the only highlight that she really had in that fight. I honestly don't even want to get into the Chris Curtis fight, so I won't. I think overall the card was pretty bad. And I mean the entire card. I mean, there was a lot of decisions, not too much action. I think this was just a very plain card. The main events definitely made up for it. As these cards are being built, they are starting to become not worth the new pay-per-view price. Definitely think that Oliveira and Dariush definitely saved this card a lot. I wanted to do my picks at the beginning of the video and my reaction, but I was out and I could not record them, unfortunately. Tune in next week though, because we're going and we're recapping Vettori and Cannonier.
Try to tell